Which Kratos would win in a battle, the Greek Kratos or the Norse? It's a challenging question to answer, but I think I can provide an intriguing insight into the possible outcome of a hypothetical battle between both versions of the character. But first, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like for more videos like this. Now let's move on to the video. This question has been prevalent among the devoted fans of the God of War saga, and indeed, it is quite fascinating. On one hand, we have a young Kratos, brimming with anger and impulsivity, and on the other, a more seasoned, wise, and strategic Kratos. Answering this question won't be straightforward, but to do so, we must comprehend both incarnations to ultimately predict a potential victor. I must state that this is my opinion, and if you have a differing view, I invite you to share it in the comments. Speaking of the Greek Kratos, he might be the initial choice for many, believing he could defeat the Norse Kratos effortlessly due to his destructive rage and murderous intent, which render him extremely powerful and seemingly unstoppable, and perhaps more malevolent and sadistic in many respects. Therefore, it's understandable to think that this Kratos has the upper hand. But, and this is crucial, this Kratos is impulsive. We have seen how he succumbs to his anger, thereby losing the strategic advantage in combat. It's true that this Kratos is intelligent in battle, but if we consider his actions in God of War 3, it's evident he can be very rash, which proved detrimental against various gods and adversaries. However, we can't overlook the myriad of notable creatures and gods this Kratos annihilated, making him indeed a formidable opponent. Now, turning to the Norse Kratos, we must consider several vital factors that could sway the battle in his favor. Age, for instance, in the realm of gods, doesn't necessarily equate to weakness. On the contrary, as exemplified by Zeus, seniority often signifies greater strength. Comparing this version with his younger self, it's undeniable that the Greek Kratos, due to his recklessness and excesses, faced near-death experiences far more frequently than his Norse counterpart, because his motivations were solely driven by a thirst for vengeance. Reflecting on the Norse Kratos, especially his latest portrayal, we've witnessed him confront significant threats in both Norse mythology games, providing us ample information to assess. Clearly, this Kratos is more judicious and strategic than his Greek version, a fact that cannot be disputed. Now a father, Kratos possesses remorse. He has changed, but that doesn't diminish his lethality. His rage persists, albeit controlled, an essential aspect to consider. Outwardly, he may seem less formidable, but the experiences following the end of Greek mythology have endowed him with new skills. In terms of strength, the Norse Kratos has battled immense creatures, defeated Baldur, and even stood against Thor himself, placing him in good stead, although perhaps not as dominant as the Greek Kratos. Regarding weaponry, the Norse Kratos has an intriguing array of armaments. While the Norse weapons are formidable, including the Chaos Blades, forged by the gods according to external content, and the potent Leviathan axe, capable of contending with numerous foes, and even Thor's hammer, the Greek Kratos might hold an overall edge in equipment. If these two incarnations clashed, the Norse Kratos might seem the underdog. Characters like Baldur mock him as an old dog, but this doesn't negate the fact that he has bested them all, including Thor's sons. While the Norse Kratos may outwardly appear subdued, the ghost of Sparta's essence endures within, ready to emerge when required. So, assessing the motivations of both, the Greek Kratos, blinded by vengeance, might act rashly, without much forethought, though there are exceptions. The Norse Kratos, as he has often imparted to Atreus, values strategy and intellect in battle, factors that significantly influence the outcome. Possessing the Greek Kratos' experiences, he understands his earlier self's drives, tactics, and vulnerabilities. This Norse version also had to masquerade as a mortal to evade the other gods' scrutiny, living incognito until the events of God of War necessitated a new quest with Atreus, culminating in Ragnarok and a return to the fray. This suggests that, despite seeming different, Kratos retains the capability to engage in formidable battles against great threats. Concluding and offering my verdict, while emphasizing this is my subjective opinion, this contest would be evenly matched. Analyzing both versions' motivations, we see that one is driven by unbridled vengeance, attacking directly without much strategy, generally speaking, as there are exceptions. In contrast, the Norse Kratos, as he has repeatedly taught his son Atreus, recognizes the critical role of strategy and intellect in battle. The Norse incarnation might have the edge here, as he could anticipate scenarios that the Greek Kratos might not envision. He could approach the fight more tactically. And let's remember, he possesses all the experiences of the Greek Kratos, including knowledge of his motivations, methods of attack, and vulnerabilities. Recall that the Norse Kratos had to conceal his true nature and blend in as a mere human, avoiding the gaze of other gods. And in doing so, he managed to survive until the onset of God of War's events forced him back into action. This perspective helps us realize that although Kratos may seem altered, he still has the capacity to wage a formidable battle against significant threats. Therefore, my conclusion is that the fight would be closely contested. If we consider the overall context, I would lean towards the Norse Kratos emerging victorious, albeit narrowly, over his Greek counterpart. This is because he knows his weaknesses, understands his thought processes, and such insight is a substantial advantage in combat. As the saying goes, to be invincible is to know oneself, and in that regard, the more experienced and wiser Norse Kratos might perceive nuances that his earlier version could not. However, this is just my take. Of course, fury and the drive for revenge can be powerful motivators, and that certainly provides an edge to the Greek Kratos, making it challenging to declare a definitive winner. But speaking hypothetically, if I were to choose a victor, my preference would lean towards the Norse version. Remember to share your thoughts or opinions in the comments. This topic has always been a popular one for discussion, and it's intriguing to contemplate these scenarios and their potential outcomes. That wraps up this video. If you enjoyed it and want to be part of the community, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like for more content like this, including future discussions on the latest installment, Ragnarok, where there are many fascinating topics to delve into. I'll see you in the next video.